All right, welcome back, guys. This is day 12, I guess. Yeah, this is day 12 of improving my articulation. So, let's dive into short term pleasure. The second category, called interest, would you be further divided into two sections: experimental joy and intellectual joy. Experimental joy. Doing these things give you a genuine sense of joy that separates you from the world or makes you forget the world. For example, riding a bicycle, lifting weights, running, writing, playing an instrument, dancing, spending time with a certain friends, cooking, reading about a subject, or creating something. There is a deep connection you have with these activities and you possessively call them yours. Therefore, they are wants spawning from yourself. So, out of all your action and activity that you may call your daily wants, how many fall under experimental joy? You may say, I can think of many things that gives me immense joy. Do these things give you a sense of thrill, excitement, and a rush of happiness? Of course, of course. Do this also gives you satisfaction, a personal connection, and a freedom of sorts? Those are the ones that would come under interest. There are a lots of things you do on a daily basis that are either done out of the habit or an addiction to the short burst of pleasure. They may not necessarily be requested by yourself. They are done because if you thought about your current state of affair, you had pretty bumped out. They serve as an escape. They are activities you do to squeeze out some happiness because you wanna run away from facing the truth. So watching videos endlessly, gaming out of a crippling need to secure a rush of excitement, hanging out with your friends out of habit, or desperately texting random person to get some sex may seems like they fall under experimental joy, but in reality it's just you unable to deal with your shit and therefore finding a person to solve it for you or an activity to make you forget about it. Your wants and actions come under the category interest only when they are controlled by you, not you by them. Only then then can they be compared to things like working out, riding a bicycle, cooking, playing an instrument, most of which are highly controlled activities. The things to remember is they don't tend to take over you. So from today, start noticing what activities and wants of yours are controlled by you and give you satisfaction in doing them, not just a sort of burst of pleasure. The activities you feel positively possessive and sure about, and screw those activities you do to escape from the duties and responsibilities of your life. They are gonna fuck you over in the long term. Let's move on the intellectual joy. Intellectual joy, doing these things stimulate your mind, therefore captivating your interest. For example, solving somebody's problem, having intellectual discussion, collecting information about people's life, and using them an opportunate moment. No need to be embarrassed in admiring that to yourself. Learning and reading about about whatever it is that draw your curiosity and interest. Ask yourself what stimulate your minds and capture your interest. Those would be your real interest. So out of all your choices and wants, how many fall under intellectual choice? Your answer could be, I can think of some activities that definitely capture my interest, but I have never thought of it putting time in them. Well, it's because time is limited and your time is already divided between shit you do to fit in this weird world and stuff you have to do in the life, such as school or job. You have a limited number of hours in a day that you can spend on only a certain number of activities. Therefore, you are presented with a choice: either do what everybody around you are is doing, or focus on what interests you. Interests. Focusing on what interests you may separate you from others, so that choice divided from the things that people around you are generally doing. This would mean isolating yourself from time to time, risking losing your position in your friend circle, becoming a weirdo in the eyes of others because you are always doing your things and saying no to activities that people want you to do with them. So we have a problem. On one hand, you want to belong, you want to be part of something, you want to be accepted. On the other, choosing what interest you require you to say fuck that to all the above. That's what individuality is. Breaking out of the group identity and become your own person. So what it that you want? Do you want to be an individual or a fucking followers? If you choose individual, then start investing in whatever draws the attention and interest of yourself. That is your things, dude. Investing in it and growing it is what separates you from everybody. That is what makes you an individual because you are doing your own things, put everywhere you find intellectually stimulating above what everybody else is doing. Fuck them and fuck that. And while we are at it, let's look at this group bullshit too. Would cool friends make you happy? Why do people do in groups? Who decided what is to be done? It is really democratic or some morons making all the decisions? Are you interested in betterment considered, or is it just focus on having fun? Do these people even know what the fuck they are talking about? Are they making shit up as it goes? Whatever groups you are a part of, think about it. Most of the stuff you do with people is done for two reasons: to be liked by people, to be liked by people. A lots of activity that you do may not necessarily gives you great joy. You may not even understand why people do them, but you don't say no because their mass appeal is too strong. In certain areas, you don't even entertain saying no. There is a chance that you might have convinced yourself that something is wrong with you for not understanding the appeal of it. So you force yourself to do that things to stay in a group. This group may have nothing to do with like-mindedness, sensibility, boundaries, or goals, and exist simply to fulfill the purpose of having fun. Your fear is that if you stay out of this group for a while, you might lose out on fun-filled activities, fall behind on whatever the group is thinking, and will be replaced. At the end, it's about acceptance. You don't want to be lonely and discarded, so you are willing to do any stupid shit regardless of whatever, whether or not it makes sense to you, whether or not you want to do it because you think being in a group and having a lots of friends is a great statement about you. You are accepted, hence you are of value. Isn't that hard thinking? That is why even if you are not in a group, you are still doing the same thing that everybody around you is doing to fit in. You are super scared of being a loner. You have the wants and the fantasies of having cool friends and cool experience. You are reading and watching videos on how to be awesome, impressive, and an extrovert. How to stop being shy because that will change everything, right? Once that is out of the way and you have the approval of people, everything will be great, right? That's some epic level bullshit. People go away, they don't give a shit about you. People give a shit about themselves, so you better start giving a shit about yourself the right way. This is crazy as fuck. Time passes, people leaves, and you are the one who says with yourself. Therefore, people are not the answer. It is you who has to find the answer from within you. So, in case you are called weirdo, a strange nerd, geek, crazy loner, were unpopular while growing up because you choose to do what wasn't regarded as popular, choose again mindlessly participating in general happiness, gave attention and time to do what interested you and stimulated your minds, then you are on the right path. Lastly, as far as friendship is concerned, a single person who truly gives a shit about you can replace thousands who claim friendship, so you know whom to keep. Knowing yourself is a superpower. In your answer to what once of yours came under value and interest. There might have been confusion in your mind regarding their replacement. You are not supposed to get it right away. It takes time, but at least the process of thinking has begun, which is much better than being a blind follower. Thinking gets you closer to knowing, which is a superpower. Knowing yourself is single-handedly the greatest superpower any person can have, sir. So try to know thyself as much as you can. Sorry, I am having cold. Chapter 10. Screw pleasing people. Does your self worth come from self? Let's talk about self worth. What does it mean? It means that you are valuable. How do we get this? It is self worth. After all, the first thing is required is a self. When you have a self to serve, the self tells you what the worth is. When you don't, you have to depend on others. When they gives you confirmation of having worth, you feel happiness. Let me repeat that once again. You depend on others to tell you what your worth is, and this arrangement makes you happy out fucking a standing mate. Let's see in how many ways it is done. First, by seeking the approval and acceptance of people who are capable and awesome in your eyes. You know who they are. He told me I am capable, doing great, and deserve to be on top. It makes me feel great and more motivated than ever. Side note: we are gonna be talking about this at great length in the coming chapter. From now, let's just leave it here and move on the next thing. Those who feel superior to others. Second, by assuming a sense of superiority. Think about people you have met who gives you this vibe. I have lots of knowledge about things. I love learning about interesting things. I watch clever, obscure movies only meant for intelligent people. I like to watch lectures and documentaries on subject. My views are really interesting and unique. I have a highly developed taste in a movie, art, and music. You get the idea. All of this is actually fine until the motive of expressing the ever becomes I am better than normal people because I am very interesting. Basically, accumulating self worth from assuming you are superior to others. Sorry. This involves showing off whatever you think is impressive about yourself to others as a need. Without it, you won't feel good about yourself. Therefore, it becomes a habit. This is not seeking encouragement, not looking for constructive criticism, not having a dialogue, actually far from it. This is a pure display of superiority meant to satisfy the ego. This is the case of person who entirely ident- whose entire identity is whatever people generally find interesting. So naturally, she becomes someone who is knowledgeable, interested in arts and politics, has achieved and has an opinion on just about anything popular. Yes, this is our self-proclaimed modern day intellectual. This poor person has no relationship with his or herself. Their attention is wholly dedicated to people's to how people see them instead of focusing on self and asking what am I interested in, what matters to me, what doesn't interest me, regardless of how popular it may be. Their self worth comes from feeling significant and interesting in the eyes of others. In short, they are dependent on an audience to feel good about themselves. It basically being like on the world different level. For example, they will refuse to watch or consume something that is widely popular and liked in pop culture by almost everybody. They do this because if they join into, then they would be like everybody else, hence not interesting. Their dismissal might have nothing to do with their actual taste, past choices, and true feelings towards that thing. Their dismissal simply gives them the opportunity to be a con- contrarian for the sake of being different. That's how desperately they are to be interesting. Other example of this would be people saying music nowadays is complete shit, even though they have no knowledge of music or what they actually like. Just because they heard some cool person they follow or order, people say that modern music sucks. They do. They might even say, I love listening to Beethoven, Mozart, Bach, real music, even though whenever they are alone, they never do, except on an occasion in which they have forced themselves to listen to it so they can like it. Then there are also those who say, I love watching all movies, especially the one in black and white. They are classic. They might have a collection of these movies which they love to show to people, but actually they haven't watched half of them and cringe at the ideas of rewatching those they have. They there are plenty of people like this. It won't be a surprise if you have met some such behavior exists only because you care about how people see you more than who you are, despite the impression it creates. Now, it is normal to expect people to like you, but to rely on people to determine your self-worth comes at great risk. What if one day you met someone who is not impressed? What length will you go to impress them, because it's the only way for you to feel you are worthy? What's happened the day you meet a person more knowledgeable than you? Does your worth become zero in front of them? You're depending on others to make you feel worthy. They carries the equal risk of others make you feel unworthy. Why don't you give all that power to yourself? Here is the third way we give this power to others. This was for the day. I will see you in the next video. Till then, keep going. I'm rooting for you.